Okay, so here's where it gets fun. We're now that we have this character in here and we've got the fly camera, we're now going to make this playable in virtual reality. And I have the HTC Vive system with these hand controllers and the two boxes on the wall that are signified by these here, which are the tracking stations. So what you have to do in order to use Unity with HTC Vive is you need to have Steam VR. So you should have Steam, and with Steam you should have in your library tools, you should have Steam VR. So that's what you want to get. So I have Steam VR. I don't know, it says download waiting. Maybe there's a an update coming. But you can start, yeah, it's running, that's why I can't update. Anyway, you start it by clicking on this, and now that it's off, now it's update queued, so now I suppose I can do the update if I want, running the update. But you want to launch Steam VR like that and turn on your controllers. It says ready to play. And you should see when it turns on. Yes, you see the headset, and it says the headset is not tracking, and that's because it's not seeing a base station. There's a base station around here somewhere in the room. Anyway, now it's ready. So then the other thing is, so you have to have Steam VR on and loaded. And then with Steam VR, in Unity, you should have gone to the asset store and you put Steam VR and you download that plugin, a VR Essential. It is free. I've already imported mine, so I don't have to import it now with you. Mine is down here under, not Steam VR Input, but Steam VR. So there's my folder. And there's a lot of folders in that Steam VR folder, and what you want to do is you want to put in one of the prefabs. And they come with a lot of cool prefabs, but this one, the one you're going to use for us is, wait a minute, modules, input, resources. It's funny, I thought that we had the player. Uh-oh. I may have erased the player by mistake. Let me find it. It appears that I erased the player by mistake because I was playing with it. And so I'm re-importing the package, and I will then re-import the player. So let's redo that. So the plugins comes in, and all of them are checked. But I want to get the player, which would be in the Steam VR prefabs folder. There's prefabs, the player prefab. So it's actually seeing that I have all the other stuff in there, and the ones that are missing are checked, the player prefab, and that looks like about it. So it knows that I'm missing as it updates. A lot of good information in there, but it has intuited that I'm missing that particular, and it looks like I'm missing the Joe Jeff controller, or maybe that's a new thing that's just been put in, and some of the animation is missing under Joe Jeff. So whatever Joe Jeff is as a folder, interactions, it's going to add those things. So I import those, and they come in. And let's see what happens here. it's bringing in the Joe Jeff samples. So you want to constantly update because there is new stuff coming in all the time for this. And it should be in here now, but it's not. Where's my player? Prefabs. My player's not there. So there's many places where they have prefabs. So this was under, these prefabs are in the major prefab area under Steam VR. But it turns out that there's another prefab area which is under interaction, and then in samples, prefabs, and then there's a player. No, that's the Joe Jeff. That's the new stuff. Hints core. Where is it? So many different folders in here. This prefabs. Ah, this one here under core. Okay, so interaction system core. There is a prefab, and that has the player. And under the player, then it has input methods and stuff like that. So that's the one we're going to use. I'm going to take that player and drag that player down right here. And like our character, which has a capsule around it as a collider, this has a capsule collider as well. And we lift it up above the ground like so, and that should be us with the VR. And it has a follow head, an input module, head collider, fallback objects, left hand and right hand. And so this should actually work, we hope. It should be that simple. Let me go ahead and save the scene. And assuming that our headset is ready, and we hit play, then there we are. So when I put on the goggles, I see all sorts of cool stuff. Oh, except the headset there is not tracking. All right. And I should also be in to see if I hold this up and press the button to turn it on, I should be able to see my hands. Why can't I see my hands? It says they're ready. Let's see. Put on my headset. No, I can't see my hands. Not in the game I can. I can turn around and I can see Mercy College and Greenberg Nature Center, Hebrew Center, and the high school and Draper Lane. I can see down toward Yonkers. I can see up toward Irvington and Ardsley. White Plains off there in the distance. But my hand controllers aren't working yet. All right. So we will get out of that for a second, and we will hit pause. All right, I wasn't seeing the controllers, and now I am. And the reason I wasn't seeing the controllers is because I hadn't gone to Steam VR Input. So you've got to go to Steam VR Input. See here, when you look at the objects, the left hand, it says tracked object none, Steam VR behavior, and it'll say that for the right hand as well. You don't have to assign anything. You go to Window, Steam VR Input, this comes up, you hit Save and Generate, and it will generate those, it'll download those bindings to make it work. And the bindings are also shown in Open the Binding UI, but I didn't have to do anything. When you click that, you'll see this, and if you needed to edit it, it would tell you what each of the buttons does. But it did it automatically for me, so you don't have to do anything once you've hit Save and Generate. So then when you start up your game, although let me put my put this down closer to my character. Oh, at the right hand, didn't mean to do that. I need to do the player. So the player is going to sit on the ground, just like my character. And there we go. Maybe I make him a bit bigger. Can I scale the player? Let's see. I scale him up. Or I just leave him the size that he is. Actually, leave these characters the size that they are. Let me hit save scene. So now, when I put on my glasses and take my controllers and I hit play, what we see is we see the actual hands, and when I hold them and I click, you can see it models my thumb and my finger. The other fingers don't do anything, but these buttons here work. And the same thing with this controller. Okay, the thumb works, and so does these buttons. All right, so these are my controllers, and when I turn around and look, I can see that character waiting to interact with me. All right, and I can move about like so. So that's sort of fun. Now the question is, how do I move around? Because my room is very small, so I have to teleport. So let me turn this off for a second and show you how you teleport. And the way that you teleport is, let's go into the top mode looking down, and you have to set up teleport spots. And to do that, what you do is go into interactions. I think we were in interactions, not prefabs there. Interaction system, it's not the core, it is not this, it is prefabs, not this Jeff character, teleport. Wow, there's a whole folder called teleports. You see it's Steam VR, and then interaction, and then teleport. There's your folder. And then there's prefabs in the teleport, and there's two different types. There's teleport points and teleporting. And so you want to put the teleport points around in the ground there and make them whatever size you want to make them. Those teleport points, like here in the baseball diamond, we can put one. We can put a teleport point at the other side of the baseball diamond. We can put a teleport point here near the windmills. And basically you can make a string of teleport points all through the landscape. And if you want to be able to see them better, there's a gizmo here that you can, gizmo thing, and you can take those 3D icons and you can blow them up or you can shrink them down. I like to make them not too big because they really crowd things. So that's the gizmo icon. And yeah, so set up your teleport points at various points on the landscape. And I think they should all be, let me zoom in on this. Let's get a sort of standard here. They should, that blue ring is now at 57.5. That's my y-axis for each of those points. And you can click on them each and focus on them and just make sure that it's about 55.5 or so. Yeah, 56 works okay too. 56.1, 59, 56, 57 is a bit high. So you can actually copy this and then go to each of your teleport points and make sure that you have pasted that in. Although, because the landscape varies, you're going to have to change them. That's just what you're going to have to do, because the landscape is different in each place. Like this one here is radically low. In fact, I don't even know how it got to be so low. 50, there it comes up there. So yeah, go and make sure that your teleport points, hit F again, because the landscape is variegated. Make sure your teleport points are visible. Now what you do when you have a teleport point, I believe you have to also put in teleporting. So let's see, maybe you don't, maybe you do. take this camera and, for your sake, put this, and you can see a teleport point there, and that's the closest one. The others are farther away, and nothing's happening. I can't teleport. So let's close out and make sure we also bring in teleporting. And teleporting you bring into here, and that should be able to make it work. Hold on a second. So now when we hit play and we look toward the teleporting point, yes, now it works. So when I click, oh, can I even get over to that point? Ah, no, I've got to make another teleporting point. That's too far away. The distance is too far away. All right, let's make that teleporting point bigger. So we will go to the teleport point. Where's teleporting? That's teleporting. Teleporting. Everything always ends up in the center for one thing. So I'm going to put that at that same location as my teleport point, which was 917, 56, negative 253. So 517, negative, what was it? Oh, I can't even remember. 517, 50, oh, 8. Oh, that one's 8. No, let's go where the character is. Third person controller is 804, 58, and negative 184. 804, 58. 804, 804, 58, and something like negative 160 or 180. Let's see where that takes it. So we click on that and see, all right, so that that's the teleporting point, eh? Oh, it gives us a whole teleporting sphere. That's interesting. All right, so we create that sort of dome or bubble for teleporting there. And now we will see if that made a difference. I doubt it did, though. We probably still need more room to interact. I mean, sorry, need to have it closer in order to interact. So we click on this, and yeah, we can't quite reach it. Not from its sitting position. So we've got to either make the landing place bigger, or move it closer, or have several other points. So if we go to teleport point, that first one, and move it out toward the characters, that'll be a little bit closer. And see how the widgets, the gizmos get too big? So this is where you want to go and make them smaller so you don't have all that. So teleport point is now fairly close to the subject, but we need to do a couple more. And you can also, I believe, copy, Control-C and paste, yeah, and make teleport points like that, and make a sort of row of them, and just keep pasting teleport points so that you can get across the field. And if you have that, and you save, and now there's also a widget that makes this big whenever it plays. How is that? Maximize on play. Then we'll always get into the whole scene. So now we maximize on play, and we're looking around, and we take our controller and we see teleport points that we can use to teleport, and that's still too far away. So that's a pain. A pain to have to keep making little bridge steps so that we can get from place to place. Now in the scale, you can scale them up a bit, to make them bigger. That's one thing that can be done with a teleport point. But I think there's also move to location or switch to new scene if you want to, which is nice. I'll move this teleport point up here. We have all these teleport points. But there is another type of teleporting that you can do, which is a teleport plane of some kind. So to be able to move around, what you need to do is create teleport planes. And so what I'm going to do is go to the top view here where my characters are, and I'm going to create 3D object plane and bring that down so that it touches the ground. Move it forward a little bit. And you can see that the ground is uneven, so that does create a bit of a problem. But let's just try it like that. And then we will add a component and type in TEL teleport, and you'll see that there's several scripts available. One of them is teleport area, and I assign that teleport area to this, and it becomes transparent. And then when I hit play, then if I put on my headgear or just look around with it, you can see that there's a teleport plane, and I can go to any part of that plane. Anywhere within the plane is fair game. And from there I can get out to a teleport point, but then I can go back to the plane and make my way around. Now, I'm not sure how big these teleport planes can be, but they do make it a lot easier to move around when you're in a small room and you can't walk. So we should put one more in. Let's hit stop, and I suppose we could just duplicate the plane. So I'm going to hit Shift D and move a teleport plane there. There should now be 2 teleport planes. There's one here. Did the other one go away? What happened to it? Shift D. No, Shift D doesn't do much of anything. So is it Control C and then Control V? No. Yes, it is. Okay. So there's a plane and there's plane 1, and I can put these planes, we paste another one in, and now we have another here, and we've got plane 1, plane 1, plane 2, and then let me also bring one out here to where the windmills are, and let's scale this up to cover the windmills completely. And move it over, and we also want to have another plane. Let me copy this and paste this so that we can get there. Gives us a lot of area to walk around. Let's see what that does. And let's make this so you can see. Maximize on play, hit play. And now, as I go into the world, pick up my controllers and stand up. Alright, so there's this whole plane here around the guy, and then there's that. Now, is there a way to, oh, it's too far away. Once again, I have made it impossible for myself to get. I can see it way over there, and I can see that one way over there, but I don't have enough jumping points. And that's part of the whole setup. So let me make this plane bigger by stretching it out to cover the whole baseball field. That way we can go anywhere within there, and then that one is contiguous to those. That also gets us to the windmills. That should do it. Let's try that. So we put on our glasses, and now we can get into, we can go literally anywhere on the basketball field that we want, and then we get to the next plane, which is the plane from which we can now look at the sun and the windmills. And then from there, we can go to this plane and get nice in. So there we are. That's pretty cool. It's a whole lot more fun this way than setting up individual points. Get back over the baseball diamond and go back to our character. There's an actual point, and then go right behind it and right in front of it. All right, buddy. Now we are in VR. Okay. So that's it for today. See the solar panels up there, and I love how now I can get closer to the solar panels, and I can even get up on the roof. In fact, let's go up on the roof. Last thing before we do it, we need to make a stepping stone there. So to get on the roof, what we're going to do is we are going to do just our same thing with the planes, but I'm going to copy and paste and take a plane and put it on the roof so that we can get up there and walk around and smash the solar panels. Just look at that from the top perspective and move it like this. Then let us change its dimension to cover the roof. Make it narrower and then rotate it. There we go. And that should give us something to walk on and look down. Now what we have to do is make a stepping ladder. So I'm going to copy and paste it, move it, and like an elevator, set it down, but I'm also going to shrink it like stairs, and copy and paste and go like that, copy and paste and go like that, copy and paste, and let's put that one in between there, copy and paste and get to there. That ladder may work. We try it one last time. Working our way up. We're getting there. And there we are, on top of the building with the solar panels, whose texture is missing, by the way. But that's how we can make our way, and then look down, and then we can go down the staircase, so to speak. And now we're back on the ground. Cool. So you do have limitations for how high you can get with this, and that is one of the pains. There must be a way to program around that, but at least now you can see how you can move around in this world. Very cool. And all the spots turn blue for where you can teleport to, but with this area you can simply go anywhere you like. Alright, beautiful.